Welcome back, Field of 68 After Dark here on what's been a really busy Monday in college basketball. I'm John Martin, joined tonight by Tyler Hansbrough and John Henson. Let's move on to tomorrow. It's a great slate of college basketball on Tuesday. How would you describe, like if somebody asked you, how would you describe the magnitude of Duke, Kansas? And what would you call it, man?
It's just a powerhouse matchup of two blue bloods. I'm excited to watch that game. Cooper Flag is, I think, leading his team in all five categories, which I think is the only player in the country. Obviously, you have Kansas with Hunter Dickinson down there anchoring the front line. So it's going to be a tough game for Duke. You worry about a letdown from Arizona. I'm sure they stayed on the road as well. So this has kind of been a road trip for them. But I can't wait to see how those guys match up. The big fella at Duke, the freshman versus Dickinson. I personally think he's going to be fine. Dickinson struggles with length, so it could be a tough matchup for him down there. So it's just going to be a fun game. I'm excited to see it. I do like Kansas ever so slightly.
Yeah, what's your breakdown, Tyler? How do you see this one?
This is going to be a great test. The one thing is Kansas has kind of been a little bit vulnerable. They've played really good halves. You saw that against UNC where they just destroyed us in the first half and then lost a big lead in the second. We almost came back and had a shot to win it. But this is going to be a really good test for Duke. Duke's played an unbelievably tough schedule as well. Kentucky, Arizona, now Kansas. You got to give Shire credit. But the one thing I'm looking at this matchup, like John just talked about, is a 7-3 big for Duke. The young kid going against Dickinson, because he does struggle with length. I think that's going to be a great matchup. And also, I think we're going to have to see who's going to really evolve for Duke as far as like a point guard, because DeJuan Harris can get out and really put a lot of pressure on those guards and make them turn it over. I think they're going to have Tyrese Proctor's going to have the big game. Foster's going to have to take care of the game. You can't let Harris put all that pressure and turn the ball over. He's one of the best defenders in the country. But yeah, Cooper Flag's an unbelievable talent. He'll be fun to watch. So I'm looking forward to him. And I also like Knipple. I think he's been one of my favorite players to watch. He's very active. I like how he's always moving. And Duke's a young team. They're going to get better as they get more experience and the season goes on. With that said, I like Kansas to win this one because they're a little more veteran and they have older guys, and Dickinson down low. He's a bucket. So I'm going to lean towards Kansas as well. I'm with John on this.
Yeah. Other big game tomorrow outside of Maui would be this Players Era tournament. You have Houston, Alabama. Again, just a heavyweight matchup, John. In some ways of contrasting styles here. We know sort of what Alabama wants to do, and we know what Houston wants to do. I don't know if Houston wants to cooperate exactly with what Alabama wants to do. So which style wins out tomorrow in this one?
I'm a defensive guy, so I'm always going to rock with the defense. And I think Houston has a little more desperation in the moment. After coming off that loss, even though Alabama lost to Purdue, it was at Purdue. I think Houston losing to Auburn, I think they want to redeem themselves. If you look at what Houston's been doing lately, they've been destroying cats. They've been absolutely destroying cats. And so Alabama's going to have a tough time. Mark Sears is going to have to come to play along with LeBaron Filan. Those two guys are going to have to come to play. The big guys, Grant Nelson and Big Cliff. You see that Oates doesn't necessarily want to play them together a lot. So I still think Alabama's trying to figure out that rotation as well, when and where and how they're going to play with each other. Cliff hasn't been playing as many minutes as of late because Nate Oates wants a lot of shooting. So tomorrow might be a game that Cliff might come in handy because Houston's big and physical and they like to defend. So I'm going to take Houston just off the strength of their defense. And Alabama still hasn't really gave us anything to convince us that they are going to be the team at the end, which is, a lot of people are kind of predicting.